window, but it was like backwards. So I had to walk around my car to be able to read it. So when I saw that and read it, I was definitely shocked at first when they said it. I was paranoid. I was like, somebody's in my neighborhood. I don't think what was happening. So I felt shocked, paranoid, and then I feel like the word fag is just more of, do you guys agree, more of a masculine term. So like, as a female, I've never been called a fag my whole life until this moment. So having somebody spray paint fag on my car was just really, it kind of like, so, and I am gay. Like, so I'm 41, I've been out as gay since I was 17, so it's 24 years. So I'm obviously okay with it, so it's like writing you are straight. Who here is straight? Raise your hand. You are not gay, raise your hand. Come on. That's how you are straight, not raise your hand. Come on. Like for years I would ask this question, like, who admit you're straight, and people were like in a full audience, like, and I never thought anything of it until like, after probably like 5 years of asking the question, because in the first film, which we showed earlier, so the first film was done in 2009, the second film was finished in 2014. So they've been done for quite a while. But in the first film, it says 99% of the negative feedback I got was from the gay community. And so I used to ask people, it would always be a Q&A question, like, why do you think 99% of the feedback you got was from the gay community? And I would always ask people, like, who's not gay? Like, admit it. People would raise their, like, most people in every audience I have would raise their hands. Be like, I'm not gay, cool. Until 5 years later, somebody emailed me afterwards and was like, you put me in such an awkward position because they inadvertently asked everybody in the whole audience to out themselves. And I never even crossed my mind. So I'm like, how hard is it to admit that you're not gay? Like, just raise your hand. But if someone, and this girl was like, I'm from college, she's like, everybody knows me. I'm in this committee, and this committee, and this committee, and I'm like super popular, and then I'm gay, but like nobody knew it at my college. It'd be like really put me in an awkward position. So I thought that was really interesting. And I would always tell people, like, what if you're walking in like Auburn and somebody like, you're just walking as like a non-gay person and somebody robs you or steals, you know, like mugs you and steals your wallet or purse, and you could freeze her in that moment and be like, I'm not gay. Like, what is your sexual orientation in this moment in time? And that person's like, I'm not gay. And you're like, oh, you're not supporting in my life right now. We have the sexual orientation thing in common. You know what I mean? And so it's not enough that, because people will be like, how could gay people support you? I'm like, it's not enough to have in common to expect everyone in the world to support you just because your sexual orientation is the same. Anyway. So I'm gay, so like having somebody write you are gay on my car, it's like I've been out as gay since like, when this happened I think I was 29. So having somebody write my car you are gay, it's like writing you are straight in someone's car that is okay with the fact that you're straight. So it's like no fucking shit, I think you're getting out. And I'm writing fag, it's like fag is a word that I've never been called. So like I don't even have my identity with this. So like once I processed, so I felt shocked and I felt paranoid, and then once I processed like fag, you are gay, like this is not somebody that personally knew me was writing my car. So I was like, obviously it must be the rainbow sticker on the back of my car. I had this like long skinny rainbow sticker. I went to the Tulip Festival. I bought it, I think it was cute. I thought nothing of it. I didn't even think we were in a time where it would like, it never crossed my mind that I was like putting myself at harm's way by putting that cute sticker on my car. So I just thought it must be the rainbow sticker on my car. So I kept the graffiti on the car for a year. I redid the car at the end. So the first movie begins with day one. I got kicked out of my grad school, told me I had to move the car from campus immediately once they found out I owned the car. And so I took the stance that day, I thought, because they were referencing me as a problem. And I thought to myself, like, so where my campus was at Sage College in Troy, New York, there was a gate to enter campus, and my car was 2 cars parked into the gate. So the day that I drove the car to campus, there were 50 phone calls made between 9 and 10 in the morning. Public safety. And then when they found out that so the first moment I began filming, I did not know I was making a documentary. I had no idea. I thought I would do like a 3-minute video of, oh, this happened to you, some kind of thing like that. My video camera I had was broke. I borrowed one from the education office I worked in. I was going to do like some short thing. So I really had no idea what I was even stepping into, but something was inspiring me to do it. So I walked out with and I thought there were 2 people I wanted to interview. Where the odds are going to come to my house to car and I was bringing them. So I asked the dean of education, can I borrow the camera? Can I go out and take a picture? So I walk out and I wanted to talk to my professor, Cheryl. So there's a scene where I walk out and I'm filming. And as the first second of the filming here, a public safety officer walks up and he's on a walkie-talkie back and forth with the supervisor, going back and forth trying to identify who owns this car, because like if there's some kind of problem with it. Anyways, I got asked to move the vehicle. I was told there's some kind of problem. And And I thought to myself, when I went back to the education office I worked in, the dean was like, do not back down, do not move your car. So if I have the dean of education telling me not to move my car, like, why would I, you know? So it's not like I can't take full credit, like, oh, I'm such a, like, strong person. Like, she was like, don't move it. So I was like, okay. But I went to the security officer, I was told I had to go, I wasn't asked, and he was like, I just want you to know we've had these 50 phone calls, they've been equally divided 100% down the line. 25 people are calling because they're pissed your car is here and they want to see them immediately, and the other half are like just calling to report and are upset. So for 10 years or 9 or whatever that I drove the Fagbug full time, I was always walking in the middle of this like fine line of these two extremes. So that first day was like what my life the next 10 years was going to become, that I had these really opposite extremes happening. So I never, in 10 years, I never put my car anywhere, I never drove my car anywhere to be like, what reaction am I going to get here? Never once. It was my everyday car that I chose to drive wherever I was going. If I had a dentist appointment, if I had to like teach somewhere, if I had to like, anything you do with a vehicle that you're just doing is what I did. So I never put my car anywhere to like bother someone, but I never allowed anybody to tell me I had no right to be where I had the right to be. So I thought to myself, they said people started emailing the professors saying that I was some kind of problem. How are we going to deal with this problem? And I thought, am I the problem? And I just thought, well, if I move my car 2 cars over out of the gate, like that's the end of the campus, I'm like, what is the problem here? And I was like, homophobia is the problem. It's the core problem. And I thought, it's not just my problem, it's everyone's. So I chose to leave my car there from 9 to 5 when I was working, and I chose not to move the car. So I took the stance that it's not just my problem, it's everyone's. And it's something that, if you thought about it, something like simple like this happening to you, everyone's gut reaction is to remove something like this. It was my gut reaction. I only didn't remove because my insurance was backed up and I had actually time to think about it, whatever stuff just started happening. But most people would want to just remove it as quickly as possible, but because of that, most people think this kind of thing doesn't happen. So if nothing else came out of the first year of driving the car with the graffiti, was that hundreds of thousands of people saw my car. And none of those people could deny that this was a problem. Because they all had to visually see it and experience it and process it. And it went outside of myself. So like most times you would internalize this kind of experience, but because I can own the fact that I did not internalize it. I externalized this entire experience. So I can never say that for 1 minute I internalized any of this. I didn't. I externalized it to the extreme, which had the opposite effect that it would normally have on someone, which also probably had the opposite effect on this person if they ever found out. But anybody in this audience vandalized my car, please come forward, man. No, come on! It's like 12 years later and I still haven't found a, yeah. So which I said earlier, that the end of the first film is dedicated to whoever vandalized my car. My main motivation for doing the film was like, and some of the things I was watching earlier with the first film, I was like running through an audience of like San Diego or a Pride Festival. People were giving me dollars. This person's announcing like, Erin, run through this whole audience and collect like dollars from everyone, and like someone in Indiana's giving me money. All these things, like weird things are kind of happening. So as a viewer watching it, I'm like, people probably think it's really unusual the things I'm showing, but as I edited the first film, and at the end it's dedicated to the person that vandalized the car, I'm thinking in my mind, the person that vandalized the car walking with them. How would that person feel every time they see something, anything good even happen? It would have the exact opposite effect. Alright, so I'm just going to share a couple of quick things. So there are a couple of weird things started happening once I started traveling with the car. So I'll share one quick thing. So I went to this high school. So I did probably 300 plus events, and I only ever canceled one. So I went to this high school in Washington, D.C. I got invited, and they told me in my contract that I was not allowed to park the Fagbug anywhere on their property. And like, if you watch the first film, if anybody hasn't seen it, just watch it. It's like, I need to. So just watch it. And like I said, anytime I was asked to move out of a space, I just never did. So if anybody's seen my film or knows anything about the depth of my project, they would know that I would just like refuse to do that. So it was like K through 12 high school, and I was doing an all-school assembly. They invited me to come, but they told me in my contract that the Fagbug cannot be parked anywhere in the parking lot. So out of 300 plus events, it was the only event I ever canceled. So I was like, I cannot agree with that. Months later, I decided to like try to work it out, and because people put my car on display with like a display vehicle. Like as Erin, I could care less if you have my car on display. like fixing my car every day, I don't care. I just don't care. But colleges and places I would go, they would have it on display in these special places, and I would be fine with that, but it's nothing I needed. Like, I didn't care. So I was just like, how could you not let me as a guest park in the parking lot wherever comes the car? I just can't agree to that. And so they're like, what if someone calls? Like, what if like a parent calls? Or if something like, what if they do? Like, you pick up the phone and be like, what's this reason for bringing this person? You know? You guys calling me? Like, how could you not be willing to do that? They're ringing me. I just like could not see my phone. Like, I don't know why. Anyway, so that was the only time I ever canceled an event. So I felt like they valued me, which was great. But you guys are also valuing me because Auburn, because I don't even have the car anymore. And I always felt for 10 years that people valued my car and liked my car more than they liked me, which was, you know, it was nice that they wanted me to come but not the car. That was great. But the opposite happened where a school at Northern Illinois University, my car broke down, the whole ship was the shifter valve and mechanical transmission. My transmission blew and it was like $3,000 and a 9-hour repair. And I'm driving from Texas to Illinois and I'm 5 hours from Illinois and I have to be on a Saturday night, Sunday. Anyway, you'll see in the film, I thought this would be an impactful part of the film, but it never was. But to me it was. So like, at school, I was 5 hours away coming from Texas, all the way to Texas, Illinois. The school, I called them, like, my transmission blew. It's a Saturday night. I have to be there Monday morning at 9 in the morning. My transmission blew, but the dealership in Volkswagen, as soon as they opened, they're like, you can take a rental car for free. 5 hours from here. You can go do your presentation and show where you, Erin, need to go for free. And I called the school, I'm like, this is what happened. And I spent $1,004 before going to that trip to Texas to make sure I like, did everything I could for the car and make sure there's no problem. And the person on the phone was like, we need, I'll get back to you. Click. And I was like, they're gonna fucking cancel me because I can't bring the car. And that's exactly what they did. So the school the next day was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I told them a heads up of what was happening. And they're like, we value you. And they were willing to Skype me and do my presentation without my car. And they're like, your car is irrelevant. We value you and we're gonna Skype you. And I like almost wanted to cry. I was like, really? Because the other school completely canceled me. And you'll see the part in the film, which nobody ever emotionally responded to, but it was like one of the most things that like pissed me off the most. That I was like, I'm gonna go back and interview this person. Like, how could you do that? But nobody cares. I care. Anyway, you'll see the part of the film, so I'm pointing it out, which I never really do, but after whatever, a couple years of not doing this, let's like give that a moment, you know? So the woman like basically like says that. And she basically was like, yeah, we just felt like you're not like a valid human being and your car is. And I'm like, all right, well, glad I came back here just to like get that information from you. So then another weird, so like they valued my car but not really me, and then another school in Washington. So one time I got approached by a school in Washington State. So I would never book a tour from New York to Washington State just for one event. So like one school approached me and like, do you want to come here? And I was like, I can come, but like I'm flying. Like I'm not bringing the car, I'll wear it there for one event. So I told them they had my flight information. I flew there, and like as soon as I fly there and arrive there, they're like, "This is your schedule for Erin Davies, and this is the schedule for the Fagbug." I'm like, "What are you?" I'm like, "You have my flight information. I told you I can't bring the car. Like, what are you talking about?" They're like, "The Fagbug will be here from this time. You will be here this time. I'm like, "What do you mean?" I called immediately as soon as I landed off my flight. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, we just thought you like." I'm like, "You know my car's not here. You have my flight information." I said, "I'm not coming with the car." I'm like, "I flew. Like, how do you think my car is here when I flew?" I personally flew. And they're like, "Well, we just thought you had extra Fagbugs on hand." Like, people just assume that I had like a Fagbug in every video. Okay, so anyway, so after a year I changed the car. This whole movie is with the car as the rainbow version. It had a whole different like slew of reactions. Completely different. Like the first year, can anybody guess how many times I was called a fag in the first year with driving that as my car? I had a man drive the car in 24 hours. He was called a fag, and that's part of the first movie. Can anybody guess how many times I was called a fag the other 364 days?
360.
Good guess.
Zero.
One.
One.
So 0 is a great guess. So in one day of having a man drive the car, it happened within hours. So me as a female, and the only time it happened was before I took my first trip. I was bent over in the car, vacuuming my car, and the person who would see my gender was the man that yelled it out. So in 364 days, it happened once, and the person name was me. So if I was a man driving the car with fags for painted on it, it would have happened like at least 50 to 100 times or more. So I thought that was really interesting to point out. Once I changed the car, the main differences with it, once it was like this, which you'll see the whole movie is the Rainbow was like, it's like the gayest car in the universe, like that you've ever seen. I was not prepared, so like 10 years ago is when people started getting iPhones. Like, so when the Fagbug got changed, if you watch my first film, I have a flip phone the whole time. I have 2 different flip phones. Like, I'm completely slow to like not. And Dan knows this. Like, I just like don't jump like advancing the technology. So like. People, so anyone that drove past me that had a digital camera in their car, I would be like amazed at how many people, like, I'm like, wow, like, everyone that had a digital camera in their vehicle, I knew every single human that did. So I probably thought like 5% had a digital camera, and I'd be like driving, and I'd be like, wow, actually 97% of people have digital camera in their car, because every time someone would go past me, they would pull out their digital camera to take a photo. So this is like kind of prior to having an iPhone. So anyways, that was one big major change, that like people would take so many pictures of the car, and then also the other change was that police would pull me over quite frequently. So I was going to Q A one time, and I got pulled over by a gay cop on the way down. And so one time in Georgia, this cop was like, oh, like I've never seen a car that looked like this before, I just had to get a closer look. And I'm like, oh. And I go, and he's like, no, license and registration, please. The first week I changed the car, I remember the very first day, because I was kind of like scared shitless of like what was going to happen. And the first day, I remember being in Troy, in Albany area, and I was at a crossroads, and someone was in their passenger like area, like their whole physical torso was out of the car, and they were like red in the face, ready to like scream something. And I was like, oh shit, like what is about to happen? And this person was like, you're my hero, and like went like this. And it was kind of like alleviated any like worry that I had. And then like old people, like 80 years old, be on the highway just being like thumbs up and like waving at me. So that was like really cool. So I kind of like stopped being so worried about it. Anyways, I got all kinds of reactions from police. But yeah, on the way to Key West, this cop pulled me over, and he was gay. And he was basically wanted to like tell me he was gay. I posted on my Fagbug page, and I'm like, really? Like, I mean, the first month I got pulled over 8 times, and I almost lost my license, and I had to take a driving course, and I had to totally change. So it's hard when you're like driving for 30 years to change how you drive. So anyways, I was like, posted on my Fagbug page, and someone wrote a really interesting comment. They're like, stop driving so gay. I mean, even one time I was driving to meet my ex-wife, like, in Syracuse, and this cop was next to me, next to, like, for West, Onondaga Boulevard, where the Westlands is, and this cop was like, can you pull over? He wasn't, like, lights were bad out, and he was not, like, formally pulling me over, but he was like, can you pull over? And I was like, why? But I had, like, to meet her at a specific time for a lunch, and we both only had an X amount of time, and he was like, really? You're going to question me? And I was like, yeah, like, so I was saying earlier, if you have somewhere to be, like anytime I was stopped, I would be completely accessible to human beings for 10 years, and then I just didn't want to be anymore, but I was. But for someone to feel they have the authority to stop you, if anybody's in a movie, if you're driving anywhere, any of you, going somewhere, you have somewhere to be. So he was like, really, you're going to question me? I'm like, yeah, I have somewhere to go. But he like forced me to pull over, even though I wasn't getting pulled over. So that kind of stuff started irritating me. So anyways, this gay cop pulled me over, and he's like, I'm gay. He didn't even see the Fagbug car, he just saw that I was driving a rainbow, like, flaming gay car, and he's like, I mean, you know I'm gay. I'm like, that's great and everything, but like, I gotta go, you know? But I posted on Fagbug page, and people were like, Erin, like, if you don't want this kind of attention, you shouldn't be driving this car. And like, I am driving the car, and I don't really want this kind of attention. And they're like, someone wrote, now you know what it's like to be black. And I just like always remembered that, and I thought it was really interesting, because I sort of adapted my sexual orientation as like a skin color, because I could walk into any room and people don't assume I'm gay. I don't know if I look overly gay, like if you're gaydar just going off and they're like, coming in, or you're like, so gay, like, I think I'm kind of head under the radar, like, I'm not like overly gay, I don't know, like, I don't know my point was there. So I don't know, so it's just interesting, like that whole idea that like adapting your sexual orientation as like a skin color, because anything can cast as like you're not gay. So like kind of adapting it in a more of a visual way, like I opted to choose for a decade to deal with all the reactions. Like the Fagbug brought out every reaction that a person could have, and I had to hear it. Whereas I think most people would choose not to. But I had to hear, like when my car was on any campus, I heard everything. If someone walked by, like they would not walk by and say nothing. They would say everything they thought. So I was hearing that for 10 years. So my finger was on the pulse of what every human being in the country thought about being gay. So anyways, I found the most interesting part of driving the car like this. Younger people, so the first film has one young person in it, my nephew's in it. And he's like, you could just like take, because when he sees the graffiti, he's like, you could just take the color of your car, which is gray, and the red spray paint. He's like, you just take the color of the car and like find that color and like spray paint over that stuff. He's the only person out of 100 people in my first film that's a young person. So my second film, this one that you're about to see, I really had a goal of finding young people to talk to. And there's really no one that's older than like 70 in the first film, so that was a goal. Anyways, so young people and older people. So I'm going to just share a couple stories. So I was driving to Texas before my car broke down and someone canceled me. I didn't know what was about to happen. I stopped in Wine, Arkansas. Has anybody ever been there? Like totally in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely. So I stopped in Wine, Arkansas. I'm getting gas. There's a whole bunch of teenagers. The car broke down. Like 7 or 8 teenagers who were stuck there. Fagbug rolls up in like the rainbow version. They all come swarming around my car, like sucked it into my vehicle. They're like asking questions, taking pictures. I think it's like the best thing they've ever seen in their whole life. And they're all super cool. Except one girl stood out like a sore thumb the whole time. She's like, this isn't right, this is wrong. This is what the Bible says. She looks at me, she's like, 2 vaginas, they just not belong together. I'm like, you're 14, I just met you. Like, why are you just letting me naked? You know? That's funny. Listen up a little. Anyway, so my funny joke. So anyways, I give them a copy of the DVD. I'm like, I have to get going, but just check it out. So I continued on, and I went to Texas, and when I got to Texas, I got an email on Facebook, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I was so mean. And I was like, who is this person? I don't even know who they are. So I click on the pictures, I'm like, oh, it's the penis vagina girl, right? So all 7 or 8 of them watched my movie together that night, and she's the only one that reached out to me. So that's the way in both films I did all the interviews. So like for whatever reason, she was impacted more, so she made like a further connection. So like she's in the second film, which you're about to see. She's in the first like 10 minutes. Her name's Katie, and she says, I'm so sorry. She says in the film, it's okay that you're gay, but you're going to hell. But it's okay. Anyway, so that's the background story about how I met her. So I also like found it really interesting when I met with older people. So like a couple times in upstate New York, I was going to a bank. One time there was this old man. He was like, came up to me. He's like, fag. He's like, wow, like, do you know what that means? Like the word fag. I'm like, I know what it means. And he's like, well, do you know what that means? I'm like, yeah, I know what that means. And he's like, well, that like, means homosexuality. He's like, you don't want to tie yourself to that. And I'm like, I'm homosexual. And he's like, no, you're not. No, I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, no, you're not. What? So this other time I was at a bank in upstate New York, and this older man, about 80 or something, was like asking me about the car, what does it mean? And like, what happened to it, what's the background story? And he's like, well, are you gay? And I'm like, actually, yes, I am. And he's like, wow, I've never talked to one of those before. Alright, so I'm going to share a couple emails. You'll see in the film, I share the like meanest email I ever received is in the film, and I also say in the film that I emailed everybody for 10 years. So I don't even check my Fagbug email anymore. I'm just not available to it in the way I was before. But I believed in being fully present to it for 10 years, and I was. So the worst email I ever got was from somewhere in Syracuse, New York, and it's in the film. This is another one that was like one of the other negative ones. It says, okay, I get it, people get vandalized. How about the blacks, the Hispanics, the whites that get looked over because they're not a minority? Shit happens, welcome to planet Earth. It sucks, I break my back every day to make a buck for my family, but because I am the majority, I will always be looked over. Fuck you from Shad. This is from Baltimore. The other one, you'll see in the film. These are my 2 favorite ones I ever received. This one says, I remember seeing the window shattered and someone left a note saying, you are gay, get the F out, and my girlfriend told me to watch a documentary about Fagbug. You showed me it's okay to be who I am, and that's where I can change me. Thank you, Ashley. Years later, so after like 10 years of touring, these 4 emails I have completely memorized because I just like did lectures with them all the time. So I was like, just saying them as I would for like all these events, and the girl Ashley was in the audience. So this is my absolute favorite one. So like, I think when you do a project like this, you really have to think about like, what is your key audience? And I think that probably came up at some point, I can't remember when, but my key audience for the entire project, every day I did it, was my target audience was the general public. And I was never not in line with that. So everyone that's coming here today, I'm guessing all of you are mostly like progressive people. So to get someone to come to an event like this, I'm guessing you guys are all somewhat open-minded people. But that's why I drove the car, because the car was crossing the general public on a daily basis. So this person wrote, "This is my favorite email I ever received," and I got like thousands of emails, like hundreds or whatever, like weekly. "Hey, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed your film and I'm amazed by your courage. I'm a heterosexual man and have used ignorant slurs to describe homosexuals in the past. I would like to thank you and everyone else. And will make sure I teach my children to be more understanding than I've been." And I love this email because having him see my film and come across it, that was like exactly what I was going for the whole time. So once the car got changed, people would drive past me with an iPhone and email me instantly. So that's something that definitely changed. When I did the initial trip, people were like, "You should put an explanation in your car that this was happening here," and I specifically didn't do that. I wanted people to think wherever the car was, it was happening there. People reacted that way. My favorite part of driving the car, which I say in the film, was the notes that I received on the car. So there's some of the notes are in the movie that you'll have to see. I'm just going to share a couple of the notes that are not in the film. So my favorite note I ever received, can anybody guess how many notes I received in 10 years? We just watched the first movie and I haven't seen it in a while. So at the end of the first film, it says I received 18 notes in 1 year. So in 10 years, can anybody guess how many notes I received? Okay, good guess. 412.
Wow.
So the very last note I ever received says, and I printed out for this presentation, specifically, the very last one I ever got said, right here, "I love your car." That was note 412. So it's something I pretty much heard every day, like, I did the whole project. Like, a million times people said, "I love your car." So in the film, you'll see when I leave Alaska, there's a gay straight couple in the film. The guy says he's gay, the woman says she's straight. They got married because they needed medical benefits. And I was leaving Alaska, and Alaska just took so long. Like the whole trip was behind and whatever. I was on the top of a mountain. I told Jane earlier. She's telling me the whole story. But anyways, and when I did the first film and the second, I was in the mode of like anyone that initiates contact with me and interviewing or offering to be available to interview, because anyone that is like initiating, they obviously are having some kind of emotional reaction, and there's a reason to be available to that. So that's the premise of how I did all the interviews. So this guy, I'm like, the whole last year's trip, when you see this, my car got delayed shipping from Hawaii to Alaska. I had 5 days to get there, and the whole thing was delayed. And I had no time. I was like, no sleep. Me and Huzik to see my dog. So brought Huzik today. Everything was delayed, so I was just like exhausted. So when I was leaving, I stopped to take this picture, and this guy was like at the bottom of the mountain, yelled up to me, "I love your car." Again, just like this note. And I'm like, there's nothing interesting about what he's saying whatsoever. I've heard that 8 million times, so why should I even talk to this person? Like, who cares? But I was like, "Erin, you even committed to doing this, so you're in the middle of doing this." So I yelled down to him, "Will you do an interview with me?" And they ran out. And his wife, straight wife, and he's gay, this whole story. There's over 100 people in the film, and it's my favorite interview in the whole film. So as you watch that, I just want you to think about it, because it's a really interesting, it's funny, and then it's very serious. And I think it's a really interesting depiction of someone's internalized homophobia. And it's my favorite interview of the whole movie. So I'm glad I listened to my gut to do it. So in the first film, it says 99% of the negative feedback I got was from the gay community, and people always, in Q&As, that was always an issue. So I'm going to just share something quickly. When I posted the trailer for the second film, someone said this. So this is giving an example of what a gay person would say to me, like the type of things I would be getting to my inbox or whatever. "Ultimately, I'm going to have to wait to see the film, but my initial response is pretty negative. This is an area where the gender someone was assigned at birth actually does seem to matter. As a gay man, I find your usage of this term pretty offensive, perhaps even more so because a person who presents as a cisgendered female is driving this car. You are appropriating and reclaiming a pejorative term that I believe you cannot fully understand. While not exactly the same thing, you're driving this car as kind of like a person of Asian descent, driving around a car that says N-Bug. In my opinion, this is an inappropriate cultural appropriation. You are taking something that doesn't belong to you. You are benefiting at the expense of thousands of boys and men who have been cruelly subjected to and abused by this word. It is their word to reclaim and use, and not yours. This is just one creative response to somebody repeating my car. If anybody has a better option or idea, like feel free to like do something better or different. But that's just one example of what someone had to say. Anybody have any questions? No? All right. You'll see some of the notes in the movie. My favorite note that I ever received, someone said, "Thank you so much for being so strong for everyone in our community and for giving a voice for those who stay silent." It's the third note I got out of 412. It was my favorite note then, and it's been for 10 years my favorite note. To summarize the story quickly, a lot of people didn't support me in what I did. The first gay pride that I worked with my car in, I felt like nobody was supporting me, nobody was marching with me, and I did this event in Albany, and everybody went to this fundraiser afterwards. I was wearing a Fagbug t-shirt, said I loved the Fagbug, and people criticized me for making merchandise. So I was at this event with a whole crowd of everyone people, and someone like looked at my shirt. I asked somebody to take a picture of us, and this guy looked at my t-shirt in like a crowded room. He was like, "When did they come out with those?" And I said, it's my car. And he's like, "I'm the one that left you the note number." And so the note was signed -M. And I just want to be able to say thank you to this person because like it had some kind of emotional impact on me. But I had no way to find them, and all these people criticized me. And when I made my t-shirts and stickers, people were criticizing me and like not supporting me. Nobody was marching with me. So I went to this event. All these people were supporting me at the event, but strangers. And so kind of reminds me of the quote I saw recently. But yeah, like you'd rather be hated for a little bit, like hated for who you are than loved for who you're not. Like it's the same thing. It's like you pursue a path of passion or a path, like not everyone's gonna support you. Anyways, at this event I was like, "Can you take a picture for us?" And this guy looked right wearing my shirt, said, "When did they come out?" So I was like, "It's my shirt, my car," and he's like, "I'm the one that left you on River Street." So I'm with Michael, and I believe that being visible is a powerful thing, and that's the reason why I drove the car. Anyways, that being said, that's all for coming.
Wait, which note?
The note that says, "Thank you for being so strong for everyone in our community and for giving a voice to those who stay silent." He left it and said it says -M. And then I ended up meeting him just because I had the t-shirt on, like months later. Anyways. Any other questions?
This, so you started this talk out by saying that the word fag, you didn't feel embodied you because you're a woman. So when somebody is criticizing you for that, like you have this, I mean, I don't care what my reaction is or anyone else's, but I was just wondering what your, like, do you feel empathy for that person, that they're angry about that, or, I mean, what's your feeling about that?
Like the person that did it?
No, the person that's complaining,
Oh.
that's a gay man that's complaining that
Oh.
you're using the word fag.
Question. I guess I don't really like have an opinion either way on it. I just kind of like I've decided to like document like what people's opinions are, but this is just like my own.
Because it seems like you got that comment more than once.
Yeah, like a lot of people reacted that way in the very beginning, like just not getting what I was doing and how could I do this. But it's like I thought it was interesting that I was the one driving the car, like that the word fag was on my car, and then so it's like whoever wrote that on my car is an assumption. Like they're assuming something, they're writing something, they're communicating something, and then having me get out of the car. Like people, you could do a whole like year-long or lifelong experiment of like having something that's like black drive the car, and then like really butch gay driving the car, like me. Like the reactions of having someone with a vehicle would be different with any type of person, like race or personality or.
So your motivation for creating the films then was more about the negative reaction of some people to yeah, it's not about you, it's about
my actual motivation, so I said this earlier, my main motivation for making the film was I wanted to find the person. Not to hold them accountable, but I wanted to have so the person that left me the note, like this note that I just told you that I found, I only wanted to be able to say thank you because they emotionally impacted me and they communicated something to me that like affected me, and I wanted to be able to say thank you back. And I eventually was able to. So like whoever vandalized my car, the whole motivation for this whole thing was every single choice I made was I wanted to be able to communicate back to that person. So the first film, when you watch it, was I was telling the audience earlier, every single scene was put together, and some of the things you would be like, why would you put this, include this, or whatever. It was like, I was imagining the person that analyzed the card, and then Louise dedicated the person. I was imagining that person sitting in the audience watching it. Like, how would this person feel if they saw that people were giving me money, or like anything that was positive that was coming out of this would be like such a shock to that person. So now that I took it even further, I was like, and then once I changed the cards, like tons of people took photos of the card. I was just trying to get so many people to like spread the message and the word visually that eventually I thought, how it's impossible to take it so far that I never to get back to a person. If anybody may know this card, I want you to tell me, come forward now, like change this up, this whole thing. Never found it. I never found out. So like, but if you watch the film, there's people I talk to that I like that person, but like my goal was to be able to like communicate back. I felt like I had the right to say something back. And I was never really, so that was my opportunity in different ways. So if you were that person watching it, you would have mixed emotions watching it because anything good that, so just somebody in the first film says like, you just turn the whole thing around. It's just like, good and bad things came out of it for me. So it's not like I just got revenge and then like score, I just like got baggy. It was like my whole life got flipped upside down and like I just didn't know what my life was anymore. So like there's a lot about it that's not just a complete answer, you know. My life changed and then their life also, if they watched anything that I did, they would have been wow, they would be emotional in some way or shape or form, and that was the goal. Any other questions before we start? So the second film was filmed 6 years after the first. After 3 years of traveling, I went to 48 states, and I was speaking for 3 years after that, and I was like, people would be like, how many states have you been to? I'm like, 48, and after like 3 years, I got sick of hearing myself say I've been to 48, and then I could tell 50, and then I was just like, fuck it, that's what happened. So I started filming the second film, and I was in that mode of anybody that initiated contact, and then it's like, now with my job at Lemoyne, I think this helped me a lot because anytime I was hearing, like, so somebody saying, like, the last note, I love your car, I heard that like 8 million times. So people would once in a while say things. So there was a part in the film, if you notice, this girl in Colorado, she talked about when she came out as gay, her mom was afraid she was going to hit on her. And when this girl told me this, because I was very involved with everything people thought. So I was constantly touring, I was constantly talking to people, I was constantly traveling. My finger was on the pulse of what everyone thought about homosexuality or whatever because of my car. So once in a while I would hear something that really stood out. So like when this girl told me this, I was like, oh, I like do the same thing like over and over every day. And then she just stood out and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like the way she retold it, like, it's been a while since I've even watched the film, but the way she retells it's hilarious. And I'm like, I have to interview this. Like, I'm just telling her, or it's so funny or whatever. And the first time I showed it, nobody laughed. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Obviously, like I was saying. So something stood out to me that I was hearing the same things every day, and something stood out. So like there's this other boy, Mikey, you'll see, there's a whole section in this film about bullying and young kids. And one person in Hawaii saw the film and thought my twin nephews, who were 5 at the time, now they're like 11, that was their favorite part of the film. So like, cause imagine like my twin nephews who are 5, their whole life they had the Fagbug in their life. So they visually saw my car on a weekly basis for like their whole life, and their aunt is openly gay the whole time. And even them, they believe that being gay is wrong. Because imagine how many images or billboards or shows or reiterations that like homosexuality is wrong. Like it's just, so someone in Hawaii was like, that was my favorite part of the film, to see that your own nephews are like, they can't even explain why they think that, because they don't even think that, but it's like subconscious. Yeah, so there's this boy Mikey in the film that really impacted me. I met him, I was invited, there was this group in Nebraska, like these kids that were middle school kids getting bullied, and they showed my first film. And a whole auditorium that was completely full. And this kid, Mikey, just raised his hand, he's like, I'm in like 6th grade or 5th grade, and he's like, I get bullied and told I'm gay every day. He's like, I don't even know if I'm gay, but I'm told every day that I'm gay. And he's like crying. And he reached out, like he was in front of an audience of 300 people. And he just vulnerably opened himself up, and I just started like crying when I heard it. And he was like, and his mom was there, and I was like, can I interview him? So we went upstairs and we did an interview. And it's like, his mom died of brain cancer like a year later. I mean, just so many things happen to people that I've like, you know, interviewed or talked to. Anyways, that kind of made me cry, and the girl from Colorado made me laugh, and like these are the things that I picked that were like, out of all these years of touring, things that stood out to me are the things that I chose that I thought would impact it. Anyways, thank you guys all for coming. I'll let a few more stories afterwards, and we can do questions at the end. for like gay car online and contact questions. Leave comments, video and stuff. Do you guys have any questions? Thank you for coming. Any questions? Can anybody guess how many times you laughed because I kept track?
What's the 50?
What's the 50? 98. Prior to this showing, you guys, so that's about 100. But so I started showing it all around the country, and then like it would be like between like 50 and 100 or something. And then I showed it in Colorado, and it was like 200, and I was like, why did they last so much more? I'm like, that was when like Colorado cast, like hot around. And the highest last count I got was 209 in Syracuse, like premiered it 5 years ago, and I came from bars over it. But I'm really proud of the fact that the film does have good timing, and it has a lot of like laughable parts. But the first one has 5 funny parts, so the fact that people just laugh more than like 50 or 100 really made me happy. I was happy with that outcome. Any questions?
How did you get the footage of the car driving by?
That's a good question. So I used to ask them, so now that I work in Illinois, I use like a lot of their mics. Dan's my intern back here, like he graduated recently, but I'm very not technical. I'm like a good storyteller, and like I'm good visually, but I'm not like very technical. So this whole film, I just shot it with like a $900 Canon Vixia. The first one I shot with like a $300 camera that I borrowed from a professor. I had like nothing with me. I didn't use a tripod once. I never used any microphones, nothing. So I didn't have a tripod. Can anybody guess? I think Dan told you this answer. Can anybody other than Dan guess what I used to shoot all the shots? So the first film, if you ever see it, because I was filming it myself, there were no shots of my car, like any transitions whatsoever. So like, I had my editor in Florida, we did some shots, and a friend of mine did some shots in her car of me driving my car in Albany, so we filled those in. But doing a second film, I was like, it's really important, I'm going to Hawaii and Alaska, I want you to feel that my car is in Hawaii and Alaska. And I love the very last shot where the quote comes up. I think it's a beautiful shot, the car coming, and the camera's obviously in the middle of the road. When I was in Hawaii with Sonia, I was like, so I was on the side of cliffs, and I was like forcing Sonia to film stuff. She was like, Erin, it's causing me such anxiety. And I was like, suck it up, Sonia, like, this will do it. And then once she got into it, she was like, at night, she was like, Erin, like, I'm thinking of, like, what we can do tomorrow. Like, why don't we just drive over the camera? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that would be like causing me such anxiety, like right over the camera. So there's one shot in Hawaii where we actually like right over the camera. It's a great shot, but like, as a viewer, you're just like, oh, this is like, it just goes by quickly. You don't realize I'm like running over my camera, So can anybody guess? So like all the Alaska shots, I was by myself. So on occasion, and the guy that helped kind of distributor of the film, he told me advice. He's like, on your trip, have as many people filming as possible. Because my first film, nobody was filming me. I was just like, the film is through my eyes, so the camera's with me. So when I was like at colleges, I would ask people to go 5 or 10 minutes with me in their car, and they would shoot stuff. But in Hawaii and Alaska, like Alaska specifically, I didn't have anyone with me. So a couple times I asked a couple people to film a shot of me driving. But I didn't have a tripod, so can anybody guess? So those shots you see, like the very last shot, my camera's in the middle of the road. I'm hoping nobody comes. And I'm shooting it, but I don't have a tripod, so can anybody guess what I put the camera on? All those Alaska shots.
Your suitcase.
Yes, my purple suitcase. So all of these shots, I just literally like pull my suitcase out of the camera, and I would like rewatch it and see what happened. Like the shot with the Canadian. And I met. So the first film I didn't have a sound engineer, so the second film I was told I had to get a sound engineer, and I didn't have one. So to answer your question earlier, you're like, how did you film for this first person? And I'm like, forgot the answer. So I'll try to answer now. So I was told I needed a sound engineer. I didn't really know exactly what that was. I just thought something that would make it sound better. So I was in Key West for an event, and Sonia came down. And I had all these Fagbug events, so I was super busy. But if you're in Key West, it's beautiful, just like going to Maui. And we're like, let's just go to the water for a few minutes. So we walked out on this pier, and there was no one else there except this couple on the pier with us. And we were just like trying to take a selfie of ourselves next to the water in Key West. And this couple was like, do you need help like taking a picture? I was like, sure, I guess so. So they took a photo of us, and we started chatting with them. Like, we're both artists. Like, this woman was an artist. So after like 15 minutes of talking to them and hitting it off with them, after 15 minutes, and all I had left to do was get the sound engineer. I was already premiering the film in Key West. Like, I was already showing it. That's the last thing I had to do. And I was like, oh, what do you do? To the husband. And he's like, I'm a sound engineer. And he's like, have you ever heard of this little show called Grey's Anatomy? Like, I'm a sound engineer for Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, obviously, Wow. So that was the last thing I needed, and I just happened to like meet. So many things like serendipitously like just worked out that like I needed something, and then I was always putting myself out there doing it. So he gave me his card. he didn't end up doing it, but he referred me to this woman, Carol Urban, who works there, and we're still like friends on Facebook, and she did all the sound. So like, so it was really interesting to learn about the sound, because now that I worked with her, we had like thousands of revisions over a month. Like, the first 2 minutes of my film, when I listened to it, I cried, and I was like, this is not what you want to send me. Like, this is horrible. Like, I was like so mad at what I heard. I was like, you just ruined my whole film. And she's like, I was Molly, and I worked for Grace Anatomy. Like, who are you telling me this is terrible? I'm like, what? So anyway, so I just was like so jarred by it, and then we talked on the phone, and like, I just had that, I don't know, the sound, you could just change the whole feeling of a film with the sound. So like, but then once I got past the first 2 minutes, I was like, oh, okay, like I saw some, like with Huzik, when Huzik's in there, she had like leash sounds, and like there's just like little things when the gravel, when I reached Alaska, she recorded her Beetle driving on gravel, and like she had these gravel sounds. So now when I watch any film, I'm like, sound effects, I just notice it, I'm in tune with it in a way that I never was before. So once I saw what was working, I'm like, oh, well, if that works, then we could try this, and we can do this. So by the end, she was like, it was really nice to see you discover like what you can do with the sound. So, but it was quite the process. Anyways, I met up with her when I went through, so I took the film to all the places that I filmed it in after it was done. And I met up with her, and because Huzik, my dog's in the film, and she's like, why did you name your dog Huzik? And I was like, I just like got my dog on the street called Huzik Street, and town of Huzik, and I was going to Huzik Falls near Albany, and she's like, no, Erin, I really think that there's like a deeper meaning for Huzik. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, it's just where like Albany is, there's like this town Huzik. She's like insisting when I met her, she's like, no, there's really a deeper meaning. And I was like, Carol, just like let it go, like let's just like hang out and have dinner or whatever. So now she was like obsessed with it for like 20 minutes insisting, and then finally she's like, I found it. I'm like, well, what's the meaning for Huzik? And she's like, Huzik, here it is. Native American meaning for Huzik is place of stone. And my dog, prior to this, had like 3 surgeries for having bladder stones, and then right before I saw her, he had a 6-month checkup to see that he didn't have the stones again, and then like I got informed that he didn't have the stones developing in his body again, but that he ate a rock. I was like, okay, I guess it makes sense. Like, any other question?
I think Huzik, well, it seems like Huzik is in this film so much, it seems like he's a rock on you.
I love Huzik more than I ever loved anyone.
Huzik never stops smiling.
I think while we were seeing the bears and stuff, I'm like, do I have to tell him like you can't just like bark at bears or like all the animals we were seeing? And he just, I never had to tell him. He just looked up and he was like, oh, it's back, you know. But yeah, this one's kind of different in the way of the first one, because the first one I pick up this guy Brandon, and I'm with him, and he drives the car for 3 days. But the hitchhiker kind of takes the place of that person. So it's like one person that I'm kind of with for a few days, and it's like funny things to say. And then you see kind of Sanya's with me, and then you see that Huzik's with me. But like, yeah, you're right. Like now Huzik's 11. But like I've always just like loved it so much. Everyone knows me knows that. So I love Huzik. Like I adore him. Yeah, he is my rock. So if he ever dies, like it'll be terrible. So people are like, nah, it's fun. Like, I'm not worried about that right now. I don't know. But you're right. Yes. So it was nice to have like people supporting me.
Are you still in touch with the hitchhiker?
Yeah, so he's my friend on Facebook, so is Brandon, who's in the first film. So a lot of people throughout the film, like, even the little girls at the end are like, we're supportive. It just was such a sweet moment. They got out of their car, like, and they're still friends on my Facebook. So there's a lot of people, even the little girls in the beginning who like Asian girls who are talking about like their parents and playing sports, and then their parents coming with their friends and their family are friends with me. And they were like, it's just so different seeing you in person versus watching your film. And yeah, a lot of people in the film are like friends with me. So I'm like kind of seeing how their lives. The guy and one of the people in Hawaii, he died of alcoholism. Like, so it's interesting to have footage of someone. So the guy that died shortly after I filmed him, I screened in Hawaii, and his mom came, so I gave his mom the footage, and like, so like you make these connections with people, it really like affects your life, like afterwards. There's people in the film that have died, but I've been like close to their family and stuff afterwards.
Erin, how old are your nephews now?
Okay, so in Hawaii when I showed that,
and also, how do they feel now?
so they were 5 then, and when I showed the film in Hawaii, it was interesting because this guy that lived in Canada, he said that was his favorite part of the whole movie, seeing my nephews. And I think it's really interesting that this was a car that was probably like, and even my nephew Justin, who's older, who's in the first film, one time I had my car at my other sister's house, he got dropped off on the bus when I was at my sister's house, in the very first like couple weeks of the Fagbug thing happening. maybe the one the car was changed, I don't remember. But I think it was once the car was the Wrangler version. And my nephew got off the bus and he was like, don't ever park your car here ever again when I get dropped off on the bus. So the next day I was there again. It's my car, like, whatever, you're like 7 years old. So the next day, because my car was there, it was so amazing that like all the kids on the bus that were giving him a hard time went home and like, there's this car, it's so Fagbug, and it was like rainbow, and all the parents looked up the site and talked to their children about it. So the very next day my car was there, and so I was kind of worried what my nephew was going to say, and he got off the bus and he's like, hey Erin, can I have some stickers of yours, because I really all my friends have the Fagbug stickers, so I was like really Justin, you know. But yeah, my nephews are 5 and now they're like 11. It was interesting because they like loved Sonya at the time and they were really a part of my life like monthly, so that they always saw this car and that I was always openly gay like in their life, like every month of their existence, and they still thought it was wrong. So that's just really interesting. Like it's not like I'm not enough, and I think that's what the person says at the end of the film. Like I did everything I could possibly do, but like I'm not enough to do. Like I can't fulfill everything everyone needs as one person. And so think about what billboards you see, all the TV shows, all the magazines, everything a teacher says, everything a family member. Like, you know, like so if I'm the only one doing something and you have all these other messages countering that, that's just not enough. And I don't think they thought that. And I almost thought of bringing them there and, you know, having them come, because I don't think they were even conscious of what they said, and they weren't like really consciously against anything. And I don't think they would be now, but I think it would be interesting to show them. But yeah, they're 11. And my sister's totally supportive, and her kids are supportive, or whatever. Their parents are totally like gay friendly, so it's interesting.
But they still feel the same way now.
Probably not. I don't think they even felt that then, but it was like conscious. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they've always been like at my house. They love like coming to my house. They know that I'm gay, and I think they're really fine with it. But they just subconsciously, like at 5, that's the way a 5-year-old is processing things. So I don't know if they would even say that.
Well, it is great that you sparked so much conversation across the country about openly and got everyone thinking. Really great thing.
Well, I think just because the car, I was able to hear a lot of different people's stories. So this film I wanted to share with like other people's stories and add that to it a little more. Well, thank you guys all for coming. I'd like to get a picture at the end of my lunch if anybody would be willing to get a group picture of like come up here and get a photo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.